In a small Middle Eastern country, nearly 2,000 years ago, that's exactly what happened. A closer look at this hero reveals some strong similarities to the hero I just described, but some significant differences. His name was Jesus, son of Joseph the carpenter. Raised in Nazareth, the scriptures give us little or nothing to go on about his early life, other than the familiar Christmas story and the visit of the Magi, and when he stayed behind at the temple and his parents came and found him. After that, there's a significant gap from his adolescence to his adulthood. And then we get right into his adulthood, and we find out about his ministry among both his people, the Jews, and many Gentiles as well. But really, who would have expected such heroic action from this man? The prophet Isaiah tells us there was nothing about him physically which would have hinted at the possibility of any heroics, not like we would like to see in our heroes. I don't know if you remember in the Old Testament, Saul was a man above men, and he became the king, right? But that's not what Jesus was. Listen to the way Isaiah describes him. For he grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of parched ground. He has no stately form or majesty that we should look upon him, nor appearance that we should be attracted to him. Like so many heroes of our present day, he too gave of himself. To begin with, Jesus put himself in harm's way. He endured pain and suffering for the benefit of others. In Isaiah 53, this was foretold far in advance. Surely our griefs he himself bore, and our sorrows he carried. Yet we ourselves esteemed him stricken, smitten of God and afflicted. But he was pierced through for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastising for our well-being fell upon him, and by his scourging we are healed. That's Isaiah 53, 4 through 5. And he did it willingly. Isaiah continues in 53, 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before his shearers, so he did not open his mouth. Matthew records in his gospel, not once but twice, Jesus responded to his pain and suffering that he was about to endure with the words, "Not my will, Father, but yours be done." Just in the case of Airman First Class Pitzenbarger, Jesus willingly endured this pain and suffering on behalf of his people to the point of death. Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. Imagine that. The creator of the universe, the guy that built it all, just by his word, loved us so much that he gave up the splendors of heaven and came to earth in our form as a man. He didn't have to do it. Pitzenbarger didn't have to get out of that helicopter. He was told not to. But when he saw people were in trouble and they needed rescuing, he willingly lowered himself down into that jungle. Jesus willingly left the glory and the riches of heaven to come down to a rescue mission for us humans. Paul continues in his letter to the Philippians. He says, cut.